Alright, what's up everybody? So this is a video I've been wanting to make for a while. I haven't had the time to really sit down and get it recorded and made and everything. So this is the first Testimony Tuesday video. It's going to be my testimony personally. I don't know how much space I have on my phone, so I'm going to try to record this relatively quick, but I'll still try and highlight all the main stuff I want to. Alright, one second. Okay, here we go. So, I'll do really quick. So, I was born in August 1993. So, this year, next month, I'll be 26. Woo! I love my birthday. I'm always excited for my birthday. Not the point. So, I was born, I believe, in Decatur, Indiana. I'm not positive on that, but I was born in a women's hospital. I think it's like Decatur and Mooresville, Indiana. I don't know. There's a women's hospital in that general area, but my mom's from around there, so that's where I was born. Um, Lived in Indianapolis, Indiana, my entire life. We moved. I think we've lived within like a couple mile radius for my entire life. We lived. I've always lived like within 10 minutes of my schools. So we just moved to like a different side of the school. So like if here's like school, I used to live like kind of like down here. I live like up here kind of area. I don't do it justice of where I live. It's not important. Just kind of general idea. So growing up, I wasn't Christian. The only time I ever went to church was if like me and my brother spent the night with my grandma just to hang out, play at her house. She would take us we'd go to Sunday school with all the kids there. We never had any clue what was going on. We just knew we got to make like stuff. We got to like draw. We got to talk about random stuff, play some games. Cool, no big deal. And like we didn't have to sit, the boring church services. It's like they're kind of like an old school service. Like everybody would stand up, everyone would sing church hymns. As a kid, it was really boring. Now it's kind of an old school thing or the way they kind of do it. So it's not. I hate to say boring, but I think I would lose interest just being in the services, which I'd hate to say, but I mean, the church I go to now, there's upbeat, there's a band, there's thousands of people attend the church every weekend, and they have more updated like stuff, graphics, all that stuff. But yeah, growing up, I was never really Christian. I never really had a whole lot of religion preached or like just godliness preached into my life. The only person I really remember that was Christian that truly like lived it, said it, did it, walked it, talked it, all those sayings, whatever, was my grandma. And I heard a lot of people in my family like, oh, we'd go to church, but I remember like, they would do or say things. I was like, I don't think that's really like a church or like a Christian thing to do. So I never really had a whole lot of religion preached into my life. Then we get up into like, 10, 11, 12, like preteen years into teenage years, like up until like 13, 14, maybe even 15. So I started kind of to have a little bit of religion kind of come into my life. It wasn't anything, like I said, I still wasn't religious. I didn't go to church. I didn't really know who God was, what God was. I just started to hear, like people like, oh, we can't go to make a baseball game because we gotta go to church, or we're going to a church camp, or like stuff like that. I started to hear just more stuff in general about church, about God, but I had no clue what it meant, no idea what was going on. But throughout my entire life, I was always raised to be the best person I could be. Always be nice, always be kind, sharing, caring, the whole 9 yards with that. So I was always raised to be a great person. I'm very appreciative to my parents, who I know my mom is definitely more religious now than she used to be. Um, but definitely thankful and grateful to them that, even though I didn't really come from a Christian household or a godly household, that, which it didn't make sense that they kind of, at least I know my dad's not religious at all. So from his perspective, it still doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me why people who aren't Christians still try to preach morals, because, if you don't have God in your life, if you don't believe in God or what, the Christian faith believes in, you're not really like to hold yourself to anything. So it doesn't make sense why you would still have these like, good morals behind you, which is great that you do. I don't know, to me, it doesn't make sense why you do that. But I'm very thankful that I was raised with those beliefs, with those values, so that I could grow up to try and, which I'm hard on myself. I don't think I'm a good person. I don't think I'm worthy enough to go to heaven, which I know the Bible says that, but I'm like I said, I'm very hard on myself, so I'll never think I'm good enough for any of that. But so yeah, I'm very thankful that I was taught that those values from an early age, so that I could grow up to kind of to try to be the person that I'm trying to be right now, and that people tell me the person I am today. So getting more into high school, there started to have that was when things started to pick up with God. So my sophomore year, one of the guys that was my best friends in high school, so I guess one day he woke up and, he had some problems. They took him to the doctor, the hospital, everything. Well, it turns out he had a brain tumor and he still does today, but he's still alive, thank God. And he's still with us. He's still doing pretty good. The tumor has subsided. It's still there, but it's not how it was when he started to have a lot of the problems from it. So I remember just things got really bad with him. He's in the hospital for a long time, and it progressively got worse with the tumor. And I remember one day when I was at the hospital, we were all hanging out one night, and I remember my brother wanted to know where the bathroom was, so I go to show him where it is, and excuse me, we passed this little so there's a hallway and there's like this little set kind of room. It's about maybe, if I had to guess, 4 foot by 3 foot. It's not very big. It's almost like a little closet, but it's just this open area. And inside of this little kind of hole in the wall was a statue about 3 feet tall. Not important, but there's a statue in there. And I think it was either a nun of it, someone who was a nun or someone who was a saint. I don't remember who it was. Like I said, I wasn't really religious at the time. I didn't know anything about it. But while my brother's going to the bathroom, I'm waiting on him, and I look at this statue, and I'm like, all right, I think I know what I need to do here. So I go over to it. I actually kneel down and get on my knees, in front of the statue, and I pray to God. I was like, God, heal my friend. Don't let him die. Make him better, whatever. And I struggle with a lot of self image issues. I guess I thought I was ugly. Girls didn't really like me. They didn't want to date me, and that caused a lot of confidence is self confidence issues with me, and I still have some of that today. But I would pray to, or I just lay and ask. I was like, man, why am I like this? Why am I so ugly? Why don't people like me? So there were times like that I would, pray to God or talk to God, but I didn't even know who I was talking or praying to. I just oh, this I can go to God and God will cure things. That's that up to that point in my life. That's kind of what I had gathered about religion was God's just this person. If you ask him to take care of stuff, he'll fix it for you. I didn't really know, like I said, I still didn't know who God was. I didn't know, what Christianity was, what religion was supposed to be, or any of that. Like I said, I just knew hey, I can go to God. He'll fix this problem for me. Cool. Problem solved. No big deal. So I remember that specifically. That was one time I got down in front of the statue. I prayed to God for a couple minutes. I was like, man, whatever you gotta do, just don't let him die. Don't let him, don't let us lose him. Please fix him. Please help him make him better. Please heal him. And it got to the point where with him, the doctor said, look, he's not going to make it through the night. You guys should go ahead and say your final goodbyes because he's not going to be here with us tomorrow. And I mean, it broke us all. We were devastated. The kid was a great kid. He always, was one of those, he's always there for everyone. He always included everybody, even when you didn't think you fit in. And so to hear that, we were kind of just done. We didn't know what to do. We're sitting there and you're speechless. You're broken inside. You have no clue. You're losing your brother. You're losing your friend, your son, whatever it is. And so we're just well, why does this have to happen to him? There's all these horrible people in the world. He's such a great guy. Why does this have to happen to him? And thank God, the next day, I mean, he was still there with us and he's still here today. And it's been, I think, almost, so I was 16, I'll be 26. It's been almost 10 years, if not 10 years. I mean, dude, he's been put through the ringer, but he's still kicking. He's still alive. Like I said, thank God. But that was one, like that time in my life, that moment was one of the first times I don't ever really remember like feeling like a presence of God with me. But that was probably my first true encounter with religion, with prayer, with I say God, but I didn't really feel God in the room. I'm not saying He wasn't with me, but I didn't know what the feeling was supposed to be like. I didn't understand any of it, so I didn't really feel God, with me. But that was pretty much my first true encounter with God, with prayer, and with religion. So then, later on in high school, phone fell off. I'm not get this thing set up right. I started to have a few more experiences with like religion stuff. Like towards the end of high school, I dated a girl who was religious, and this phone will not stand up. There we go. Her mom, her family was pretty religious. I can't remember what specific like off branch of Christianity they were, but I know it kind of freaked me out being around them a lot of times. Just like I don't believe in any of this stuff. I don't know what you're talking about. Like, it's God this, God that. I was like, can I just live my life? Like, can't it just be me doing stuff? They made it sound like, God is a puppet master, which is a misconception of what God truly is and who God truly is. So that was like kind of a bad understanding and bad taste in my mouth of God and religion from that. Not that they weren't nice people. They were overboard from my perspective with religion and everything. And like I said, it freaked me out. I didn't know what was going on. I was like, look, I don't want anything to do with any of this. And she's like, look, I needed you to be Christian or we can't date anymore. I was like, well, I told you that's not what I want. So we broke up, and I really had strong feelings for her. I really wanted to be with her. So that was a rough spot for me because I was in college when we broke up. So that was kind of rough. Just dealing with, losing a girlfriend and because of religion. And there was another girl in high school that I liked before I met the girlfriend, who I liked. I wanted to date her. I wanted to date her. And she's like, are you Christian? I was like, well, yeah, not really thinking about it. And it's like, oh, okay, good. And I was like, wait, I'm not Christian. I don't really believe in any of that. She's like, well, I can't date you if you're not Christian. And that made me so mad because she was such a cool person. And I didn't understand. I was like, look, it's religion. Like, it shouldn't be a problem for you to date me. And so that, another thing, it left a bad taste in my mouth, left me with a horrible impression of who Christians were, what, all this was supposed to be. And I was angry. I was furious. Like, this is like, you're supposed to, like, Christians are supposed to be these cool people who love everybody. And like, this is how you treat me. You only date me just because of what I believe. Like, that's stupid. Like, we're all humans, we can believe whatever we want, which now I get, yeah, that's a big problem. That's an issue that, you need to marry people. Christians need to marry Christians. You shouldn't marry someone who's not Christian. I don't think, which I don't know. I think you can still date people who aren't Christian, but I don't know if that's true. Don't hold me to that. And a big part too is like, look, if you're dating someone who isn't Christian and they're pulling you, or like you can see them trying to pull you away from your beliefs, you need to end the relationship. Don't stick with them. Like, you can be friends with them and try to save them, but you don't risk your religion. You don't risk your salvation just because of some person that you like and you want to date. There's other people out there that are probably not the right person for you. Like, there are other people in the world. Like I said, don't risk your salvation just for one person. So getting into college, freshman year, I joined this community service fraternity. It's kind of like an organization club, but they call it a fraternity. And a lot of their foundation was based on religion, which I wasn't religious. My two friends that I got them into it, excuse me, they were religious, they were Christian, and I was like, please don't tell anybody I'm not Christian, because I'm afraid they'll kick me out of it, and I was like president, or I was like higher up in like the management of it. So that I'm still trying to live out, like those good beliefs that, looking back now, like it didn't make any sense why I tried to hold up if I wasn't Christian and I didn't believe, in God and, anything that Christians, preach and everything. But one of my two friends, who's my best friend now, like I truly feel like the guy's a brother to me. I'd do anything for this guy. He is the huge one that helped me in my walk through God. He was just, he was a Christian. He read the Bible. I saw him do it multiple times, and I was like, oh, that's weird. He's reading the Bible. It's the middle of the day. Whatever. I'll go play basketball. No big deal. But like I saw him reading the Bible. I saw him being nice to people. He told me like he would pray. Like everything about him, like he was religious. He was a true Christian. He was a son of God and a disciple. And he's the one, like him being in my life absolutely changed my life and literally saved me. And he was the one who helped me get baptized. Because my senior year, I started to ask him a lot of questions like, who's God? I had this, feeling. What do you think this means? And that brings me to like my big moment of when I had like the like true realization and epiphany of like, yes, I think that's the right word. I don't know. Um, but I had the like thought in my head and I realized God exists. This is something I need to do. This is how I need to live my life. So one night we're going to go hang out. I took a nap and I woke up and I was watching a show, TV show. And in the show, they were making fun of Satan. They were making fun of the devil. And I woke up to a specific episode where they were doing that. And in the pit of my stomach, like worse than any other feeling I've ever gotten of I'm in trouble or something's wrong, I felt and I knew in my head, I don't want to go to hell. I don't want that to be where I end up when I die. Because before I got baptized and everything, I just like, oh, well, we just kind of die. We don't really go anywhere, you just live life and, just whatever. But like that night, I knew that for sure. It's like, I don't want to go to hell. I don't know what it is, but I know I don't want to go there. And that's when I started to ask questions. That's when I started to be more interested in religion and figuring out what it all meant. And I didn't do as much, I guess, research as maybe I probably should have, or that you think, you probably need to do. But I knew it in my heart. I knew God existed. I knew religion was something, there was something to it. It wasn't just, you say, hey, I'm a Christian, and you go about your life. And then, whatever happens. I knew, like, okay, religion is a thing. Christianity is, it is something, it's important. I need to live it. I need to be it. I need to do it. God is real. I need to get baptized. I struggled with it, though, for a while. I think that happened probably like February or March of my senior year of college. And October 6th, that same year after I graduated, that was the day before that, October 5th, I went into the church I go to now. I was like, look, I want to get baptized. I want to do it right now. I can't wait. I got to get baptized. And they're like, well, I'm sure your parents, your family wouldn't be able to be there. And it's like, yeah, if I didn't tell my mom, she'd probably get mad at me. So I better wait till tomorrow. So I go home. I just spring it on everyone. I was like, hey, I'm getting baptized tomorrow. And everyone's just in shock. They're like, what are you talking about? What do you mean you're getting baptized? Like, I'm getting baptized tomorrow at 4:00, make sure you come to church. They're like, okay. And it was really cool. One of the cool moments I remember from that, I called my grandma to tell her, because she, like I said, she was one of the ones in our family, the only one that I really knew, like, was truly religious, like, always did her best to be a Christian and to be a good one. And I was like, hey, I'm getting baptized tomorrow. Same reaction. She's like, what do you mean? What are you talking about? Are you going crazy? Like, no, I know kind of what this is now. I know this is what I want to do. I'm getting baptized tomorrow, at the church at 4. Can you be there? It's like, yeah. And I could hear her. She started to kind of tear up and started to get choked up a little bit. And she's like, Jake, this has been a prayer that's been answered for a couple of years. And I was like, oh man, you're going to make me cry too. Which now too, still like that was, it was cool for me, like realizing like I'm going to get saved. Like this is something like I've ignored this forever. Like this is a huge moment for me. And I felt it when I came out of the water. But like that was something that, man, I always remember that. My grandma was like, I've been praying for this for years, and you like this, God's finally answered this prayer. That oh man, that was awesome. That was something cool. That finally got to happen. So I'm really, man, blessed to have the family that I do and have just the life I have. And that moment though, that was one of the most special moments of my life, other than getting baptized. So that's kind of just a brief overview of like kind of how my life has gone. There's a few points I want to just bring up that along the way of just kind of what I was thinking in life, what motivated me like in life, or what kind of helped me get through. Because there were some times that, more so in high school, like it started in high school and just continued to go, and towards I finally in college at senior year, I was like, look, I gotta make a choice. Like I'm either doing this or I'm not doing this, and I'm going the complete opposite way and doing whatever I want, or I'm gonna follow this to the letter and do everything I can for religion, for God. Like I'm all in or I'm all out. And that's the way it has to be. You know, Christianity, you know, your relationship with God, you're either all in or you're all out. Like, don't get me wrong, be all in. That's the good way. That's the right choice to make. But this isn't something you half effort. You only give half of your time to. It's everything or nothing from you. But there were times where I would question, you know, like, because I always, not that I took it to be literal truth, but my answer was like, well, what do you think about how the world started? I was like, oh, the Big Bang Theory. Like, it just provided, because I know we don't know a lot about space. It's like, oh, it seems possible that, you know, an explosion could happen and just create everything. Because I don't know what's going on with it. I'm not a scientist. But that was just something that I was like, yeah, this is what I'm choosing to have as my belief. I'm not saying it's true. I'm not saying you're wrong. This is just what I believe. But there were times where I sat and I got this, like, you know, kind of feeling in my stomach where I was like, man, like, I got upset, like, worried. It's like, what if I'm wrong? Like, you know, what is the point to life? And the only answer, I'm a huge sneakerhead. If anyone ever, like, I'll post a picture of my shoes at some point on here, on my Instagram page or whatever. But I'm a huge sneakerhead. I love shoes. I think they're artistic. I think there's there are awesome ways, you know, like, just express, like, color, like, just go out and, like, express yourself, I guess, every day. But like, they're artistic. I appreciate the artistic value of it. It's something fun that I got into when I was in high school, and I still love them. And my answer to myself, like, well, what's the point? Is like, oh, I don't have to worry about it. I'll live my life, have fun. You know, there's shoes I can collect. There's girls I can try to date and everything. And every time I question myself, those were the two things. There's shoes and there's girls. Those were the two things that I kept coming to like help myself believe, or to help myself, you know, just like, well, what's the point of life? Well, who cares? Just have fun. There's girls, there's shoes, you know, two things, whatever. Cool. Have fun with that. And then, like, that one day when I had that feeling, or just through that time from like February, March, whenever it was to October, all that came crashing. It was like, yeah, these aren't good enough anymore. Like, there needs to be something. There's got to be something better. There's got to be something bigger than this. There has to be something. And I was like, all right, I've waited this long. I've waited long enough. I know this in my heart. I know God exists. I know this is the right thing. And that's finally, like, October 5th, I went to go get baptized, and like, nah, you should wait tomorrow. Wait for your family to be there. I was like, okay. Then October 6th, I went. It was like 4 or 5 o'clock at church, and I went and I got baptized. And that, best decision by far I've ever made in my life. Like I said, it answered prayers. My life has been great since then. I've struggled with stuff. Don't get me wrong. Like, there's been low times in the couple of years since I got baptized, which almost 3 years ago. So that, just for context. But yeah, overall, my life has been immensely better. Like, it's hard to even describe. Go with God. That's the only thing I can say. Go with God. Get baptized. You will not regret it. It is the best decision you will ever make in your life, guys. I promise you that. Don't question it, man. Like, once you know it in your heart, act on it. Go live it. It truly is the best decision you'll ever make. And every day I live with God, my life is far better than when I tried to do it on my own before getting baptized. It truly is not even close. So I know that was it felt a little all over the place, but I tried to give, like, you know, an outline, and then kind of give a little bit of a little bit in-depth thoughts as my, like, along the way, how the process went of my life, and just, you know, kind of things I've thought over the years. But here is kind of a cool, funny story at the end. So after I get baptized, we're like, my grandma has a lake house in Michigan, and for whatever, I think my mom or someone was thinking about going up there for a little bit that weekend. But after I got baptized, we're like, hey, let's go to Michigan. Let's go have fun. Let's go on vacation. And I didn't have a job at this point, so I'm like, okay, why not? I got nothing going on. So we got packed that Saturday. We went up there, and so I got baptized on a Thursday. Yeah, I think October 6th was a Thursday. But the next day, I'm pretty sure it was a Friday, we went up to Michigan, and so we get up there, you know, we're all excited, having a good time, and then Saturday comes, and I get a phone call. I missed it. I went in the room where I have my stuff, and I get a phone call, and it's like, hey, I'm so-and-so. I'm the lead pastor at the church. I was like, oh no, I missed a phone call from the head pastor. That's not good. So I called him back. I was like, "Hey, I'm really sorry I missed your call. What's going on?" He's like, "No, I heard you got baptized yesterday. I wanted to ask you some questions." Like, okay, cool. So he talks to me and he goes, "What service you gonna be at tomorrow?" I was like, "Oh no." I said, "Well, actually, we got so excited after I got baptized, we decided to go on vacation for a couple of days. So I'm in Michigan right now. I won't be there tomorrow." He's like, "Oh no, no big deal. I was just gonna preach on you, or bring you up in my sermon. Is that cool?" I was like, "Yeah, that'd be an honor." And I'm thinking in my head is like, "I'm missing this tomorrow. Are you kidding me?" So one, I missed a phone call from the head pastor. Two, I missed a sermon where he preached about me, or like brought me up in his sermon or when he was preaching, and I still haven't seen it. I need to try. I think our church has it on their website. I gotta go find it. But that, and another thing, so the camera guy during one of those services, he wasn't a Christian, but he was. I don't remember how they told me about his walk and his journey, but I remember he told me, it's like, yeah, after hearing what I had to say about you and seeing your video, the camera guy decided he wanted to get baptized. Man, that was so cool. That was such an honor that someone saw my story. It's like, there's hope for me. I can change, and this is something that I want to do. And he decided to get baptized. So that, man, that was awesome. And now it's every time I go to church service and there's baptisms, man, it's the best part. Like, I love the sermon. I love the preachers and our pastors at the church. Don't get me wrong. But every time there's a baptism, man, I love it. I get a huge smile on my face. I get all excited. I love it, man. So, dude, whoever you are, believe me, I was probably far more lost than you think you are right now. There is hope. You can change. No one's ever too far gone. You guys can get baptized, and you can decide to follow God. There's never a wrong point to start following God. You should always do it sooner rather than later, but there is never a bad time to start following God. So thank you guys for checking out this video. I want to get some more people on here to give their testimonies every week and to start building up a not a following, but building up a community from this page. So I'm still working on that, and I want to get more involved in that. But yeah, so if you guys check out this video, thank you for listening to my story, my testimony. Please ask me questions. Please interact with the Facebook page, with my with Instagram, with this channel, with my email, whatever it is. Please interact with me, man. Ask me questions. Send me a prayer request. Share awesome stories about baptisms, whatever it is, man. Just please don't hesitate. Always contact me. I'm always here for you guys. So that's gonna do it for this for the first Testimony Tuesday video. Thank you guys again just for checking everything out. I really, really appreciate it, and thank you for being fans of the channel. Thank you guys for following with me. God bless, and I will talk to you guys later.